not going to talk too much before we get into it. When we left off yesterday, Amix and Stephen were talking in a boxcar. Boozhoo! Welcome back to Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo! And this week we're reading Amix Blood by Michael Lyons. It's a Christmas story, and we're going to read a few pages every day until Christmas. Alright, page 35. I'm going to jump right in. Here's a picture of Lilith, and she's riding a horse, and she's also got a deer with her, and the deer is wearing a saddle. Whoa, girl, Lilith said, pulling on the reins. Let's take a break and let that train pass. We're almost there. With one smooth motion, Lilith swung her long leg over the horse's head and slid off the saddle. As she opened the feed bag for the deer and the horse, a silhouette of Santa's sleigh and his charging reindeer flew 10 feet overhead. They were moving fast and turned to keep up with the racing train. What's that all about? Lilith thought, and a now familiar chill ran down the length of her spine. She didn't know why, but Lilith's nostrils inflamed as her eyes turned a luminescent white. With a hiss, her fangs extended, and she quickly remounted her powerful steed. Wait here, she commanded to the deer, and unhooked its leash. With a sense of urgency that possessed her body, Lilith rode off in pursuit of Santa Claus. Meanwhile, inside the rocking boxcar, Amix and Stephen were intently studying their cards. Nobody said a thing for almost a full minute when Amix spoke up. Is it my turn? Nope, it's mine, Stephen replied. And G-I-N spells, and slapping down a winning hand, he declared, Gin! Aw, man! Ha ha! Stephen playfully taunted. I am the king of the world! A high-pitched squeak punctuated the moment, and the car began to slow. Oops! I lost track of time, Stephen said and stood up. We must be there. I've got to get this stuff packed up again. Here, let me help you, Stephen. Amix began rolling up the priceless rug, while Stephen replaced the plastic protective covering for the floor pillow. Outside, unknown to the two new friends, Santa Claus was directing his team to land on top of the boxcar. On, Comet! On, Cupid! On, Donner and Blitzen! He yelled. Land on the train! Not far below, the exquisite vampire with her sleek black cape flowing behind her was keeping pace on her horse. There was something that just didn't sit right with her, and Lilith always followed her instincts. When the train finally came to a complete stop, Lilith and her horse disappeared into the shadows and fog, like only vampires can do. They watched the hulking white-haired man lumber down the ladder. He paused for a moment to catch his breath, then violently jerked open the sliding metal door. Aha! roared Santa. You're coming with me! Amix was frozen with fear, but Stephen didn't hesitate. Lunging at the giant man in red, Santa responded with a surprisingly fast backhand. The small mummy flew back into the marble pillar and slid to the floor like a damp cloth. Stephen! Amix cried. Santa gripped the young girl by the neck and lifted her off the floor. He pulled her in close to his face, close enough that she could smell stale milk and cheap cookies on his breath. Ho, 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 he roared again and turned to leave. Suddenly, a huge black bat fluttered in and flew directly for his head. Ducking at the last second, Santa Claus dropped Amix and swirled around to see the bat begin to transform. Okay, I'm going to leave it at a cliffhanger. Right there, that's enough for today. We'll pick it up tomorrow and see what happens with Santa Claus and Amix and Lilith and Stephen. All right, well, you've been watching Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, and we're a podcast reading Amix Blood by Michael Lyons. And we'll pick it up again tomorrow. I will see you again. Higawa min, minowa, hoa. All right then. Yeah, just check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Check, check, check. That sounds pretty good. Give me a check, check. Check 1, 2. Ah, ah, ah. Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right then. Boozhoo ni Jonashana Bedug. And welcome back to Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. We have a very special guest today. We've got the Count from Sesame Street. Oh, thank you very much, Nana Boozhoo. Ah, ah, ah. Yeah, we got a very special show today. We're gonna count with the Count. So, hey Count, do you know any Ojibwe? You know, I do not. I'm not from around here. I am from Transylvania. Ah, ah, ah. Transylvania? I thought you were from Sesame Street. No, that is just my job. I have a summer place in Sesame Street, but I'm from Transylvania. Oh, well, welcome to Minnesota, Count. All right then, so I'll teach you with the kids here how to count to 5. Let's see, how should we do this? Tell you what, Count, why don't you say the English, and then I'll say the Ojibwe. Oh, that's a very good idea, my friend. All right, we'll begin with number 1. 1. Ah, ah, ah. Yeah, okay, but you know what? You don't have to laugh after everything you say. Oh, yes, I'm begging your pardon, sir. No, that's okay. Yeah, why don't you start over? Okay. 1. Beijing. 2. Nij. 3. Nisway. 4. Niwin. 5. Nanan. Oh, that's very interesting. Hey, you know what I just noticed? What's that, my friend? You just said, oh, that's really interesting. I think we're rubbing off on you.
I think you are, my friend. I'm starting to feel like a Minnesotan. Okay, well, one more time count. That's Beijing, Nij, this way, Niwen, Nanen. Here, let's see if you can do it. Okay, Beijing, Nij, this way, Niwen, Nanen. I love to count. I am the count. I count in Ojibwe now. Beijing, Nij, Niswe, Niwin, Nanen. 5. Hey, that's really good. Okay, well, there you go. Counting to 5 in Ojibwe. Let's see, what else should we talk about? Oh, I don't know. Is this pretty much what you do on this podcast? Yeah, this is. And you know what? The longer you're on this podcast, your vampire accent kind of slides into this. I don't know what you call it, the res accent. Yes, I'm noticing that too. Well, maybe we should cut it short before I completely lose my Transylvanian accent. Yeah, you just did it again. Okay, well, hey, that's all we have for the show. And I want to thank you for watching Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I will see you again. Gigawaba min minowa. Oh, what? Hey, well, thanks for being on the show, Count. That was kind of cool. Oh, it was my pleasure, my friend.
Pray God you can cool. I'll stand outside this woman's work, this woman's world. Ooh, it's hard on the man. Now his part is over. Now starts the craft of the father. I know you've got a little life in you yet. I know you've got a lot of strength left. I know you've got a little life in you yet. I know you've got a lot of strength left. Should be crying, but I just can't let it show. Should be hoping, but I can't stop thinking. All the things we should have said that we never said. All the things we should have done that we never did. All the things I should have given, but I didn't. Oh, darling, make it good. Make it go away. Give me these moments. Give them back to me. Give me the little kiss. Give me your hand, baby. Give me your pretty hand. Oh, darling. Should be crying, but I just can't let it show, baby. Should be hoping, but I can't stop thinking. All the things we should have said that we never said. All the things we should have done that we never did. All all the things that you wanted from me, all the things that you needed from me, all the things I should have given, but I didn't. Oh, darling, make it go away, just to make it go away.
I don't want people to think this is just like an infomercial for my books. If we do anything, I just want to just tell them that it's not an Ojibwe language reference book. A Banana Boozhoo book, if you want to learn Ojibwe language and be able to reference quick sentences and stuff, Banana Boozhoo is the book for that. Gibberish is like a coffee table book. If you like the artwork, there's a lot of great art. And then in the back, there's the Little Cutie story. Yeah, I thought I'd call it Nana Boozhoo's Ojibwe Word of the Week. Yeah, the book review of the week. We've already done 2 this week. People are going to be annoyed. Let's just do a little back and forth. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe something, at any point here, this could be just started as a cold open. And then you could get into, what's your problem? She's sad. Somebody wrote in on Facebook and complained that we didn't do an Ojibwe word of the day yesterday. No. She thinks they don't like her. Yesterday it was really getting good. But I didn't want to just keep going because we got to keep these episodes short. Hey, Boozhoo ni Janishinabe Dug. Welcome back to Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo. And this week we're reading from Michael Lyons' book, A Mixed Blood. Yesterday when we left off, Santa Claus, who in this book we find out he's kind of the bad guy. He's the elf hunter, and he was hunting for A Mixed Blood, and he finds her on the boxcar with Stephen the mummy, and he hits Stephen, and Stephen's knocked out. And when we left off, a bat had just flown in and was beginning to transform. So I'm going to pick this up on page 40, and we'll just start. Okay, so here's a picture of Lilith, kind of in half transformation. Suddenly, a huge black bat fluttered in and flew directly for his head. Ducking at the last second, Santa Claus dropped on Mix and swirled around to see the bat begin to transform. In an instant, wings grew into a cape, and Lilith seemed to appear out of the darkness itself. Her eyes were still white, and her fangs slowly grew twice their original length. "Where do you think you're going with my sister?" she hissed, and slammed her fangs into Santa's shoulder. He stiffened for a moment, then relaxed and fell to the floor. Lilith let a single red stream dribble down the corner of her mouth. Her eyes returned to normal, and her fangs receded to slight points. She looked down at the red lump on the floor and said, "You've had that coming for a long time, old man." "Lilith!" Amix cried, and jumped into her arms. "You okay, sis?" "Yeah, I'm good," she replied. "Now." Then jumping down again, she raced over to Stephen's still body. "Stephen! Stephen! Are you okay?" she asked. Stephen had no response. Amix pulled at the white bandages covering his face to see if he was still breathing. To her amazement, Stephen had bright yellow skin and enormous oval-shaped eyes that covered much of the top of his perfectly smooth head. "Oh my!" Amix gasped. "I think Stephen is an alien." Stephen coughed, and his large eyelids opened slightly to reveal the glossy black inside. His face clenched in pain. "Surprise!" he groaned and tried to smile. Lilith, he doesn't look so good, Amik said. I could bite him on the neck and turn him into one of us, Lilith replied. He would become immortal. From behind them, Santa slowly rose to his feet. Lilith and Amik spun around to see his eyes fade to white and pointed fangs drop from behind his mustache. Worked for me, the jolly fat man declared, and transforming into a chubby red bat, laughed, Ho, ho, ha, 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 and drove and flew out and off into the night. From the roof, the reindeer watched him disappear into the starry sky and knew they were free at last. Thanks, but that won't be necessary, Stephen said in a strained whisper. I'll be okay in a little while. After a few minutes, yellow light began to radiate from beneath his skin. Thin rays shot up from spaces between the wraps. Stephen closed his eyes and straightened his body before levitating 4 feet into the air. What's going on? Amix asked, becoming increasingly uneasy. Stephen turned his head to face Amix and said, Don't be afraid. I didn't get to be over 500 years old without learning a few tricks. He then became completely encased in a floating ball of yellow light. For a brief few moments, Amix and Lilith lost sight of Stephen completely. Eventually the light subsided and he slowly drifted to the floor. Ah, he groaned like someone who just woke up from a long nap. I forgot how good it feels to regenerate. What was that all about? Amix asked. There's a lot of misinformation about mummies out there, Amix, Stephen said. But I'm afraid we'll have to talk about that later. Your sister has some very important information for you. Isn't that right, Lilith? You can read minds too, Lilith said, quite impressed. Yes, it's true, Amix. What is it? Lilith looked into her sister's concerned eyes, and with tears in her own whispered, Father is not well. All right, let's stop there for the day. So we learned something about Stephen. Not only is he a mummy, he's an alien too. All right, well, thank you for watching Boozhoo Nano Boozhoo. And we're probably going to finish this book in probably 2 days. So I'm going to leave you by saying, I will see you again. Higa waba min, minawa. Oh, wa. Yeah, I'll mix blood by Michael Lyons. Oh, wa. I told her I didn't think it was about her.
No, it's not you at all. I mean, it's us. People love your contributions. They love your songs. And it has nothing to do with you. It's just that people kind of expect Nana Boozhoo to talk about Ojibwe. And, you know,
I mean, we do call it the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. But, you know, that's just part of it.
they like the songs. I think they're just, they just expect more Ojibwe language instruction. Some people are actually learning, phrases and stuff.
All right, let me just do this then. Boozhoo ni Janashanabe Doog. Welcome back to Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, a podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. And apparently this week, and also about Michael Lyons' books. This one's called Ojibberish, and it's on sale for Amazon. It's on sale on Amazon for $13. Oh, it's got an alien on the cover. So, Michael, tell us, what's the deal with the alien? What do you call him? His name is Stephen, and yeah, he pops up a lot. So why do you have an alien in a book about Ojibwe language? Honestly? Yeah, honestly. Aliens are just really easy to draw. It's kind of like drawing Spider-Man without the makeup. Oh yeah, I suppose. Okay. Maybe okay. Hey, Boozhoo! Welcome to Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. My name is Nana Boozhoo, and today we've got a very special Ojibwe phrase. What are we gonna say? Oh, how about this? Nimbukade, I'm hungry. So I'm gonna go down to the country kitchen, because look at this. I've got a country kitchen gift card. Santa was good to me this year. Oh, let's face it, I was good to Santa, so he gave me a present. Nah. I got a gift card to Country Kitchen. I'm gonna go have some breakfast down there. I think I'll have the steak and eggs, cause Nimbukade, I'm hungry. Nimbukade, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. But you know, it's also Gisana. It's cold. Gisana, it's cold, and I gotta walk down there because my truck's all froze up. All right, Nimbukade, I'm hungry, but Gisana, it's cold. So I have to walk. I'm gonna bundle up, put on my scarf. And that's one thing too. You know, every time I put on a scarf, people tease me. I live in Bemidji, for crying out loud. Why is it? I just don't get it. Anyway, so yeah, maybe it's because I wear my scarf like I'm one of the Three Musketeers. I whip it over my shoulder. Yeah, so there's another brick in the wall, and I've always loved that album. I remember where I was when my brother brought home The Wall. Oh yeah, I think I was like a seventh grader. I don't even. But certain really great albums you remember where you were when you heard it. Yeah, Scott, my Nisea Scott, my older brother. Let's make that the word for today. Nisea, older brother. If you have an older brother, listen to them once in a while. They're older, they can introduce you to stuff. Scott was my greatest teacher. He taught me about Kiss. He brought home double platinum like in 1976 or something. Changed my life. And then around that same time, he brought home The Wall. Today, listen to this. So yeah, Scott was a good teacher. Actually, all this stuff I know about Ojibwe language and culture, I kind of learned from. I either learned from Scott or he introduced me to people who knew about it. He was always going to sweats and hanging out with these aimers. He'd be like, "Hey, I'm going on a sweat with a bunch of Sioux people. They were in AIM. You should come with." I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, let's go on a sweat." So Nisea, my older brother, and Gisea, your older brother. Go ask your older brother what he's listening to. And listen to it, you might be surprised. Okay, well, that's all I have for today. You have been watching Boozhoo Nana Boozhoo, a podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. Okay, well, I will see you again. Ki gawaba min menawa. Oh, wah. All right, let's see. Let's play a little more of that. All right, then.